something I'd like to share with you today, and I'll make no secret of the fact that I'm reading this. I'm reading it because I want every word to be at the right place, right time, said the right way. I'll read it point by point. At a certain time during this, it will seem like I'm way off point, but I will bring it back to the subject, and the subject will be found in point number 1. And by the way, I'll read this point 1, point 2, point 3. So here we go with point number 1. Bad Bunny is performing at the halftime show at the Super Bowl this coming February. Point number 2. This comes at the height of the "Get them illegals out of here" movement, far greater than I've ever seen in my life. Point number 3. Accompanying the "Get them illegals out of here" movement is the "They just need to come in the right way" movement. Point number 4. But alas, this is not true. As it turns out, many people on the far right, specifically the late Charlie Kirk, earlier this year said, "Everyone says that we just need immigrants to come in legally. This," he said, "is not true. Legal immigration," Kirk said, "without assimilation is an invasion." Furthermore, he called New York City then mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani, who is an immigrant, a naturalized U.S. citizen from Uganda, a parasite. He continued, "It's legal immigration that is the problem." Wow. When you allow a bunch of people into your country legally and they don't share your values, they don't assimilate. Let's look at the definition of the word assimilate. Assimilation is the process of adopting the customs, values, and behaviors of a different group or culture. And so Kirk continued, "Islam is not compatible with Western civilization." See where this is headed? For so long it was, you're fine if you're here legally. But now the bait and switch has been pulled. Okay, actually it wasn't quite enough to be legal, so sure, come on in, do it legally, but then you have to strip yourself of all of your cultural customs and take on the cultural customs of Americans. You have to change your habits, change your likes, change your dislikes, change your religion, change your opinions. So, citizenship isn't enough? More has been added to the deal. So it's like buying a car for $20,000. In the lot, you agree to $20,000, but then you go into the office, sit down at the desk, and you find out there's sales tax fees, titles fees, registration fees, destination fees, documentation fees, inspection fees, emission fees, market adjustment fee, advertising fee, extended warranty fees, gap insurance fees, dealer add-ons, and dealer preparation fees. And the $20,000 car is now $27,000. Yes. Immigrate legally, we welcome you, but then we need to talk. This year, going further, Charlie Kirk also said, Islam is taking over Europe. In an attempt to show that this movement is coming to America, and eventually that we will be in the United States under Sharia law, is his ultimate point. You can go online and find this discussion and verify the words that I'm saying and the quotes that I'm quoting. He said, quote, "London is now a majority Muslim city." This is not true. This is not close to true. This is not remotely close to true. Going on, he said, "The number one baby name in Copenhagen is Muhammad." He said the number one baby name in Dublin is Muhammad. He said the number one baby name in London is Muhammad. So let's back up and cover those. The most popular baby name in Copenhagen is not Muhammad, it's William, followed by Noah, Lucas, Emil, and Oscar. Muhammad isn't even in the top 20 baby boy names. In Dublin, the most popular baby boy name is Jack, followed by James and Noah again. Muhammad, again, isn't even in the top 20. In London, Muhammad is the most popular baby boy name, but there's context to that. And the context is there were approximately 1,300 baby boys named Muhammad or an Islamic name last year in the city of London out of the 54,000 babies born in London last year. If you grab a calculator, you'll find that 98% of the babies born in London last year did not have an Islamic name. 98%. So you see how misinformation and downright lies that are accepted as truth because of who said it, because of the glowing reputation that he had, is spread through fear. The greatest way to influence people is fear. The greatest way to manipulate people, to get them to do what you want them to do, to get them to believe what you want them to believe, to get them to do things that they would have never considered doing otherwise, is fear. The greatest way to inspire people to take actions that they would have never even considered is to spread misinformation with fear. And because so many of these anti-people of color, non-Christian statements of supposed fact came through a God-fearing, Bible-quoting man who could on command grab Bible verses and reference in his Prove Me Wrong sessions or on his podcast, accepted his proclamations as absolute fact, when in reality they were absolute falsehoods. The kinder way of saying it is, he spoke misinformation. The more pointed truth is, he repeatedly, knowingly spoke lies to facilitate, to enable, to empower the already brewing bigotries and fears of already misinformed people. Kirk's passing was a horrible tragedy. It was yet another needless act of gun violence, and I accidentally saw up-close video imagery of his murder, and it's something that I'll never be able to unsee. And I wholeheartedly condemn the violence that took his life. My only hope is that at some point, we don't forget the hundreds of innocent school children who've suffered the same fate, minus the publicity and the 92,000 person funeral. I committed to say nothing for 1 month following Kirk's murder. That month has passed. So I'll now say, at some point, the reverent treatment of him, the praise and adoration, the honor and veneration must be reconciled with the fact that, as a very smart, very intellectual, very well-learned man, he intentionally turned truth into fiction, fact into fables, reality into lies, and he did it to influence people, to manipulate people, to spread, to multiply, and to exploit the ignorance of already misinformed people, to empower their misinformation and build their lives on a foundation of complete fiction and fear, magnifying their predisposition to already held bigotries. Point number 5. Bad Bunny is performing at the halftime show at the Super Bowl this coming February. Point number 6. Anti-immigrant people are losing their minds that Bad Bunny is performing at the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Turning Point USA, whose founder is Charlie Kirk, is offering alternative programming during halftime of the Super Bowl. One of their considerations that was leaked is Kid Rock, who has performed at many Trump functions, rallies, one of the inaugurations. More about him in a moment. Point number 7. There are scores of people protesting the Super Bowl performance of Bad Bunny, with actually many saying, we're trying to get rid of these immigrants, not have them do the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Point number 8. This may be my favorite point. Question: would someone named Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio need to assimilate and become more American? Point number 9. Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio is the birth name of Bad Bunny. Point number 10. Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio is a natural born, not naturalized, but a natural born citizen of the United States with all the rights, opportunities, and benefits that come with citizenship. He has all the rights and benefits and opportunities of anyone born in Texas or California or Idaho or Montana or Vermont or New York or Alabama. He has all of the rights to the benefits that come with citizenship. Go back to 6th grade geography class and understand that Puerto Rico, the birthplace of Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, is a territory of the United States. Point number 11. I have no memory of anyone complaining of Paul McCartney, one of my all-time favorites, of U2, of The Who, of Coldplay, or the Rolling Stones performing at halftime of the Super Bowl, none of whom are U.S. citizens. Point number 12. I'm seeing a trend continuing to develop here. Point number 13. For the last few years, I've heard an incredible amount of criticism of the state of California. And one of the top points of criticism, almost exclusively by those outside the state, many of whom have never been to this state, in an attempt to make a specific point, the kind of people who detest when they are asked to press on for English, are venomously critical of our Latino majority population, something that we share only with the state of New Mexico. And they will say, Spanish-speaking people are taking over California. They will say, the Latinos are taking over that state. And they will say, if you're not careful, it could happen to your state, to our state. As a proud resident of California, may I say, you should be so lucky that it might happen to your state. And may I just say, as a 41-year resident of California, I love California. I'm in the dusty dairy cow almond orchard San Joaquin Central Valley area of the state, and I love this place. I love the Central Valley. I love San Francisco, the most beautiful city in the world, that has a lower crime rate than 4 Southern Republican entire states. I love Los Angeles. The same can be said about their crime rate. I love the Pacific Coastline. I love the Pacific Coast Highway. I love Yosemite. I love the giant redwoods. I love the California economy, the 4th largest in the world. I love how many billions of dollars are sent from our state to Republican states through the federal taxation system, even though most of the states hate us. I love that California keeps a number of Republican states from going bankrupt. I love that we have one of the lowest property tax rates in the country. I love our politics. I love our governor. I love our University of California system, which has saved our youngest son's life a number of times. And I dearly love the racial, cultural, religious, culinary, landscape, and weather diversity. I love that we have 20 feet deep snow in the winter in one part of the state, and at the same time 80-degree weather in another part of the state. I love every single Latino that enriches this state with their customs, their kindness, their language, their intensely hard work. I love that Latinos make up over 40% of California, more than any other ethnicity in this state. And just to kind of sew that up, may I say as politely as possible, to the countless people that relentlessly bash California, people that don't live here, many who've never been here, leave us alone. Worry about your own state And instead of mocking us and condemning us and trashing us and obliterating us, you probably should pray for the continuing economic boom of the state so that your state doesn't go broke. And since the entire point of this is going to be about the language spoken by Bad Bunny and how badly people are freaked out about it, let me brag and tell you that another language than English is spoken in 43.9% of California homes, a massive majority of that being Spanish. Point number 14. Kid Rock very well may not be the alternative programming, or he could be, but this we know. He speaks English! This has to be his only redeeming quality to have him perform as an alternative to Bad Bunny, because for all of you that are so concerned about the crime rate of people crossing our southern border, who actually have a crime rate of anywhere from 40 to 400 times less than U.S. citizens, you probably should know that the English-speaking Kid Rock, whose career began in 1990, has a rap sheet with around 10 arrests from 1991 to 2019, several of them for violent crimes. Point number 15. As it turns out, the National Football League has listened to the tidal wave of criticism of the natural-born American citizen Bad Bunny and his Spanish language music. They have capitulated and arranged a Friday before the Super Bowl concert with Sting, a white, English-speaking citizen of England, of course. I've heard no criticism of this move. No one saying, no, we need an American citizen. There's been no uproar, no protests, no petitions being passed around. I've seen not one single word on social media. Is it possible this directly relates to what's happening in America right now? Do you think it's possible that this entire purge of them illegals has nothing to do with citizenship? Is it possible that citizenship is just an excuse to get rid of people that a small percentage of Americans just don't like? If there had been social media in 1550, what would the Native Americans have been saying about us? Point number 16. So does all of this really just come down to Spanish-speaking people who haven't assimilated to American customs, Spanish-speaking people and other cultures that haven't assimilated to American customs, which is really just a dog whistle for white customs? And finally, point number 17. When I look through the progression of all of these statements, facts, statistics, anger, anti-Bad Bunny protest, a group called Turning Point USA being so opposed to a halftime show being done in Spanish, that a large portion of America cheers that a multiple-time assault convicted criminal called Kid Rock might potentially be a better choice than Bad Bunny because he speaks English? The performer might not be Kid Rock. I would be surprised if it is, but I can guarantee you this. It will be someone who speaks and performs in English. I will close with this simple question. It's a simple question that, in my opinion, has a very simple answer, and I want so much to just give my answer, but I'd rather hear yours. In the comments below, give your thoughts. I'd like to hear what you think. So here is this simple question. A year after America was schooled at halftime by a black rap artist named Kendrick Lamar, and now we're being given a Hispanic, Spanish-speaking halftime performer. What's the problem? What's the actual problem? Why the anger? Why the protest? What are racial slur, get him off the stage comments for? For this American natural born citizen. What's the anger for? What is the problem?